You good, Veronica? Good?
Yep, you're good. Go for it, babe.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys. So I'm super excited for this call. I literally had a lot of pages written out for you guys, so I'm gonna try to keep it as short as possible and to the point, because I know there's probably other calls going on tonight. And it's back to the basics, and I love to share just my journey within this business with you guys, because there's a lot of ups and downs and just like discovering new things that are going to work for you and like aha moments. And I think as leaders, it's important that we share that with you to hopefully prevent you guys from going through those same moments, or to get you guys to think about the business in a different way. So a common theme that we hear all the time in this business, whether it's in Monet or in our jobs or just from successful people from podcasts or entrepreneurs, is consistency is key to success. To be successful, you must be consistent. We hear this ringing out of everyone's ears every single day, because it is important. They tell us you need to show up daily, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're not motivated, even when life is crazy and a whirlwind and things like that are going to happen, but you need to be consistent in your business or trying to achieve any goal that you're trying to accomplish. And this word consistency kept sitting with me, and I was like, okay, but like, what does that mean? Like, I know it means showing up and doing things every single day, repeated, but I wanted to understand on a deeper level of what that really meant, especially because I kind of hit a wall in my business. So I literally spent the time. I'm a nerd, so I love like reading and researching to understand things. I just love knowledge. So I looked up the importance of consistency. And it says it helps develop routines and it builds momentum. And we hear this from a lot of our successful people in Monet about building momentum. And it all comes from consistency. So I started looking up into like more into what that meant. And it was about forming habits that are almost second nature to you. If you do something consistently, you don't even have to think about it anymore. It's just ingrained into your life. It's just a part of the life that you've created. It's part of your process. It's not something you have to think about, like, what do I do next? Because you've done it so much, it's second nature to you, and not a lot of thought has to go into it, not a lot of effort, not a lot of energy, because you've put in the work and done it consistently, that it's second nature. So that was something that really stuck out to me that we'll circle back to later. Consistency will breed efficient and better results. So the reason why people say to be consistent is because you're going to be more efficient in your processes, because you know what they are. It's second nature to you. You're going to know how to wake up and do your morning routine because you don't have to think about it. It's going to make you more efficient in manifesting or whatever your goals are, because that's just a part of the process you put in place in life. And you're going to have better results from that because you're continuously doing it every single day. And it's funny because, you know, we talk about John Maxwell a lot because he's one of our sponsors and one of our leadership coaches in Monet. And I came across a quote in one of the articles I was reading that I wanted to share with you guys. Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained over time. And a word that stuck out to me was like small disciplines. I think a lot of times we're always worried about doing these big dramatic things, but it's the small things that really move our business. It's the small things that we incorporate in our life that actually will have a big impact later on. Just because they're small in our head doesn't mean the impact can't be big. So we really need to reframe how we're visualizing these small disciplines that we're doing in our business. Because if you are consistent with that every single day and it's second nature to you, and you wake up and you just do it, like it's gonna have a big impact over time. You just have to trust the process. And another thing I came across was the analogy of like, you know, being a business owner, and I know like we're an online business, right? But at the end of the day, we still have to show up because that means that we're open for business. And it talked about as a restaurant, let's say someone told me about this great ramen place that I want to go to, right? And I just happened to be in the area. I'm like, oh my God, like, yeah, someone told me down the street, there's this great ramen place. I'm going to go check it out. I go and they say they're closed. Guess what? They just lost a customer or someone who could have potentially told someone else about this great experience in this great restaurant because they weren't open. So the reason why we say to show up daily and to be consistent and to open your doors, because you could lose a potential customer. Maybe that person hasn't been on Instagram in 3 months because they're on a cleanse and they just happen to go across your story, and there's nothing about the opportunity. There's nothing about a product. There's nothing about what you're doing or who you are. That's a missed opportunity. And we need to realize that every single day, that's what we need to be thinking about with being consistent. So all of this is to really build up to say, like, all of this is so true, and it really is the fundamental to success, but there's so much more to it that I discovered. And I kind of just want to like tell you guys like my journey and like how I got to this place of hitting a wall in my business. So a lot of you guys probably know, like, the last few months, like, I've been like all in. I've been like showing up to trainings. I've been in the group chats. I've been posting daily. I've been, putting up content. I've been more of myself, authentic, adding value as much as I can. And I've been doing all of this because like I truly believe like this is the vehicle for me to build my dream life. I truly believe like I'm going to be in a millionaire club. Like I truly believe like this is the place for me, and I want to go all in. And then I hit a wall about 2 weeks ago of like overwhelm. And I don't know if like some of you guys follow me, but like I deal with anxiety, and I do deal with a lot of like panic attacks if I'm like overwhelmed or feel like I don't have a direction, or like just a lot of things are happening. So I hit that point and I was like, oh, I don't want to like go back to this place of overwhelm and anxiety and like panic attacks. And there's just, a lot of things going on in life, and, with work, like I'm a full-time manager, and I was getting hit with a lot of things in my job, from like an associate perspective, projects, like staying up until midnight to like get PowerPoints done, and just all of these different things, and, family stuff. And none of this is an excuse to say not to show up for your business. That is not it, because life is always going to happen, guys. There's always going to be something that's going to flip you around. You'd be like, oh, just kidding. Like, bet you didn't expect that. So we have to remember life is going to happen. But the thing I realized is I was still overwhelmed. And I'm like, why am I overwhelmed? Like, I should be confident to be able to do this, like second nature. Like, I shouldn't have to think about it so much. So what I started to realize was like, okay, why am I thinking about this so much? Like, why am I stressed about what I have to do every single day? And there was an aha moment for me. Someone reached out to me on Instagram, and it was like a post about, I just like, did a simple post about, putting on my lash serum in the morning. And they're like, oh my God, what is this? And in my head, literally, I swear to you guys, like 100 thoughts went through my head of like, how do I approach this conversation? What do I say? And I was like getting ready for work. So I was like, okay, I have 10 minutes. What do I respond? And I just like had this like frantic approach to the situation. And I was like, why am I feeling this way? Like, I have over 50 VIPs. I've helped other people get VIPs. I've been in several conversations before with this exact same thing. Like, why am I in a place of panic and overwhelm by someone asking me about a product right now? So for me, I really realized I didn't respond, because I was just like, okay, I'm just going to set it aside because I don't want to respond the wrong way. So I set it aside, and that night, I think I got off of a call. I think it was Sam's call. I got off of a call, and I was like, you know what? Like, I need time to like reflect on my business. So I literally sat down for an hour and just like thought. I just like wrote down my feelings, like what's going through my head. I love doing brain dumps and just getting stuff out on paper, because it really does help you decompress and get it out of your head where it doesn't make sense. It's just swirling around. So I sat down and I realized I didn't have a system in place where I could consistently do it every single day without having to think. And then I said, why is that? Why do I feel like I don't have a system in place? And I realized I was in a place of information overload. And I just want to make that clear. So when I decided to go all in, I was like, I'm hopping on every single training possible so that I can grow my business, so that I can be a better version of me. And with that, which I love, like we have 3 trainings a night sometimes, like 4 days a week, sometimes on weekends. Like we're having 12 plus trainings a week of information and best practices and things about social media and how to like, do content, how to use a new app, how to do reels, how to do this, how to do that. And it's all great. And it's all things that can push your business. But if it had me rethinking everything about my business. It had me in a place when that VIP reached out to me. I was thinking about something that Sarah Hill said. I was thinking something about that Veronica did for her VIPs when she approached them. I was thinking about something that Jackie Ortega said. I had like 5 voices in my head of how they approach a VIP in that exact moment. And I literally just like froze. I'm like, well, which one do I do? Like, what's the right one in this scenario? And guys, this is so detrimental to your business because you don't have a baseline. You're literally just trying to consume everything and mush it together, and you're not confident anymore in your processes to deliver. So one of the things that I looked up is like, okay, let's talk about change and like when's the good time to incorporate, different ideas and advice from other people to improve. And it basically went into this whole novel about like too much change is actually detrimental to a business because you lose confidence. There's a lot of uncertainty and it actually causes stress because you're always second guessing yourself because it's something completely new to you that you don't even know where to start, and you're second guessing yourself, looking at notes and all of that. And I was like, wow, like that is so true. I literally like went to my notebook to find something from Veronica's call. And I was like, oh, I really like that. Like, how do I incorporate this into this conversation? And I just realized like I wasted 30, 40 minutes because I wasn't even home to go find that notebook to incorporate that piece of advice to have a conversation with the VIP. And it stressed me out because I wanted to respond. I wanted to get the ball rolling. I wanted to get the VIP. And that's when I realized that consistency is so important, but we need to realize, guys, that we need to have our baseline process and we need to go back to the basics. There's a lot of great advice out there, but we're changing too frequently to even see if what we're doing right now is working. There's a new call every week. You guys are watching new trainings every week. That doesn't mean you need to go and change your process every single week. Because how are you ever going to be able to know what your process is if you're constantly changing the way that you're approaching market partners, if you're constantly changing the way that you're having a conversation with the VIP and sending them a cart? How are you going to know what's efficient? How do you know what's right for you if you did it for 1 week and then the next week you're trying to incorporate 5 new pieces of advice that you got from calls? And that is where I was. And I was overwhelmed. And this is not to say like these pieces of advice aren't great, but in order for us to build that momentum, we have to have a consistent baseline process. And we need to go back to the basics. So I sat down and I went back to the basics. I said, what is going to be my VIP process? Like, what am I confident in doing right now if someone reaches out to me and is interested in the product? And I wrote it down and I'm like, I'm going to stick to this plan wholeheartedly, at least for a month, because I feel confident in it. And I know it's given me results in the past. And like, that's my set plan. I said, how do I feel about getting market partners? Right now, I need to get market partners. I'm in a rebuilding phase. That is my top priority. So I sat down and I looked at my notes and I said, this is going to be my process for the next month of getting market partners. I'm redoing my hundreds list. I'm reaching out every single day. I'm posting about the opportunity every single day. I'm following up with people. Like I wrote down my IPAs and being like, this is not going to change regardless of any trainings that I'm listening to. Because I need to stick to a plan and I need to make sure I'm consistent, that it's second nature to me to do these activities every single day and I'm not thinking about it. And I think this is the important part, guys. Like we're all in different parts of our business. Some of us might be struggling with VIPs. Like that's where you guys need to put your attention right now, is focusing on VIPs, figuring out what process you want to do and stick to it. Don't divert from it because someone else tells you a different idea. Write it down. And then in a month or 6 weeks, look at all the ideas that people had and choose one thing to implement. Don't change the whole process. Don't say I'm going to do a whole new process and decide to do what Jamie does. So that means you have zero experience. You have zero confidence. It's 100% uncertainty doing an entire new process. You can't be consistent in that. That's not a routine for you. And you're going to find yourself being stressed and overwhelmed and not feeling confident doing those behaviors. So after all of that, I really just took the time, and it was really an aha moment for me. And I think me and Veronica were at happy hour, and I was just like, this is what I realized in my business. This is what I need to do. Like, I'm focusing specifically on like rebuilding my team right now, focusing on IPAs that are going to drive that, because that's what my business needs. And I think a lot of times, guys, like, I love all the tips and tricks, but you have to realize where you are in your business. Right now, I don't need to spend an hour or 2 hours on Teza to learn how to do Teza and presets. I just don't have the time. I work a full-time job. And for me to spend 2 hours on that versus reaching out to market partners or creating content or hopping on a call about the business, that doesn't make sense for what I need to do right now. That training will be there when I need to take my business to the next step. So some tips for you guys that kind of just outlines what I did that I feel like will help a lot of you guys is step one, take an hour to reflect on the basics. And when I mean the basics, guys, I really do mean the basics. There's certain things that we should be doing secondhand nature that we don't have to think about. You should be literally posting daily about some products. I don't care what it is. Like, that should just be something. I don't care if it's the, balance, the pre and probiotic, talking about it, bringing value to what the products are doing to you. Like, that's a basic. If you're not doing that, that's the number one thing you need to focus on, because that's fundamental to your business, is talking about the products. Another thing, like fitting VIPs. Like, if you're not confident in like product knowledge, if you're like, I'm still unsure about skincare, I'm still unsure about like, girls with like curly hair, like a hair type that's not mine. That's what you need to focus on, because that's a basic of the business that you really need to feel 100% confident in, that you can go in and do that and then help your girls who you bring on to do the same thing. Building new connections. Like, if this is something you're not doing daily, if you're not following people, commenting on stories, story exhaust, all of that fun stuff, that is a basic that you need to hone in on and make sure that you're consistent with every single day. Getting new market partners. I know from my own experience and just, talking to a lot of people, that this is probably the biggest hurdle for people, is figuring out like, how do I get people to want to join the business? How do I overcome objections? How do I, get on my story and like talk about it and share the benefits? All of those different things. If that's something you're really struggling on, that's where you need to put your focus. So it's really about where you guys are. And one thing that I'm going to be doing, there's a lot of calls a week, but if it's a call about getting VIPs, I'm not going to hop on a call right now, because my focus is market partners. So instead of hopping on that hour call, you know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be following up with people on my hundreds list. I'm going to be creating content for the next day. I'm going to be doing something to drive my business in the right direction, because I don't need any more tips to change my VIP process right now, because that's not where my focus is. And that's okay, guys, not to hop on a call if you're doing something to drive your business. But don't just not hop on a call and binge watch Friends or something. Like, make sure you guys are using that time to take your business in the right direction. And I think, I got into the mindset of like, I have to be on every call, like I have to just show up. But at the same time, like, we have to be smart about what we need and what our business needs and where we're putting our energy. Because at the end of the day, guys, we only have so much energy. Like, that's reality. We are human. Like, we need to sleep. We need to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. And we have 24 hours, and 24 hours is a long time, and we can do a lot with it. But let's be smart about it and not be putting so much time into things that aren't supposed to be our focus at the moment. So after you guys take an hour to reflect, maybe it may take you longer, and you guys are going to focus on where you need to be most in the business. I want you guys to write down specifically on that action item, like, what are your 3 to 5 daily IPAs, income producing activities, for you guys who don't know what IPAs are, that are going to drive that bucket of what you need. And then once you guys decide what those 3 to 5 IPAs are, stick with that. Do not change it. You have to be consistent in following through on that for at least a month to see if it is producing results for you. So don't do 2 weeks and be like, oh man, I didn't get a market partner yet. Like, this isn't working. I think we've all been there before. Like, dang, I looked up this, hashtag, and I went to this location and followed some girls, and I sent a voice memo because they said send voice memos, and I sent 14 voice memos and no one wants to join the business, that doesn't mean it's not working. That's only 14. 14 is not a lot. That's a small sample size, if we're being honest. So you guys have to stick with the plan and see if it's going to breed results. And then let's say after 4 to 6 weeks, you're like, okay, literally, I'm not getting anything from this, right? Like there's zero momentum happening. Pick one of the 3 to 5 things to change. Don't change all of it. Don't start from scratch with a new game plan. Because imagine how hard that is. That's like walking into a new job and being like, okay, like go ahead. And you're like, wait, no, I don't know the process. Like, what am I supposed to do again? You're gonna be second guessing yourself. And when you wake up every day, you're like, what do I have to do again? And you're retraining your brain over and over and over to learn new processes that you're never going to be efficient and you're never going to get the results that you want. So those are my steps for you guys. I think it's really important. It was just an aha moment for me in my business. And I'm super excited I had the aha moment because I really needed it. Like I feel a lot better and I feel a lot more focused on what I need to do. And there's going to always be a lot of things happening around us, guys. There's going to be a lot of trainings. People are always going to be at different stages. But you have to know where you are. This is your journey. Stop looking around you and being like, oh, I'm going to do what they're going to do. Because like I saw that they put in chat that they got 4 pumpkins. What do you need? Focus on that. Because if you're just looking at everyone else, you're going to get distracted and not realize what your business actually needs because your eyes are on other people and not on yourself and your processes and your business needs. Because all of our businesses are different at the end of the day. But we all are capable of getting to the goals we want if we really focus and strategize and stay consistent on specific goals and not getting information overload. Write it down, save it for later. Something great to go back to. Luckily, we have a page where all the trainings are stored. I know like Veronica has her whole like list for her people. I know like Jamie is like creating a Google Drive. Like there's so many places of information, guys. Like don't let it overwhelm you. Don't get in a rut of just not knowing what to do. Because that's the worst thing. When you don't know what to do, that means you're not doing anything, to be honest. So hope this was helpful. Do you guys have any questions for me, or how are you guys feeling? I know the chat was like going off, but I'm really bad with like getting distracted. Any questions? No? All right. Well, thanks, Shane. I will post the recording in the chat for later. I hope this was helpful. If any of you guys like need help, honestly, like with coming down and like breaking down like an action plan, like feel free to reach out to me. Like I'm here to help. I know talking through it is very helpful. Like I talked through it with Veronica, and just to have like an accountability buddy is so important. And I know like my hundreds list was something that was like high on my priority list. And I was like, I'm going to get this shit done. So like get it done. Tell someone what your goals are. Tell them what you're going to focus on, because that will hold you to your goals and make sure you're accountable for it. And if like, I don't see you posting about it or doing the things you need to do, like I will tell you. So I hope this was helpful. Everyone have a great night.